Hi, everyone. So it's about a couple minutes past 6:30. So we'll get started. Welcome. If you didn't come to the review before this is just the series of final exam review sessions that the TAs are hosting for Biology 85. And today is part 2 of part 3 of the review of the entire semester. So we'll just jump into it. But first, sorry, I forgot. People can't see how I have this. Anyway. So first, just a couple of announcements. Your final exam is December 15th, which you guys know, next Wednesday. And I believe on Spire, it runs from 10:30 to 12:30. Is that correct? The Spire listed time? If anybody can give me a thumbs up on that. Fantastic. But as you know, with Laura's exam, sometimes it might take you a little bit longer. And if you're one of those students that needs a bit more time after 12:30, then don't panic, because she always reserves a second room to allocate students to allow them more time to do their exam. I mentioned this last review, but I just thought I'd mention it again. But if you have a conflict, meaning that you have 2 exams at the exact same time that day, or an exam is back to back or something that nature, and you feel like you would need to allocate more time to this exam, please reach out to her by email. Laura is a very accommodating professor, but she needs to know your circumstances. So please make sure, if those things apply to you, that you email her. I think for your final exam, you're allowed to have the cheat sheets from the prior exams to bring with you, as well as an additional one for weeks 11 to 14. So just make sure you're aware of that. And in terms of diagrams, I believe she said the diagrams from exam 1, which is, I think, just the nuclear import-export and the amino acid chart, will be provided to you, but those are the only diagrams you'll receive on your exam. So just make sure you note that when you're making your cheat sheet, any diagrams that you think you may need, that you put those on there. I said most of these things in a video last time, so you guys can go back and see the first video where I explained some of this stuff. But just make sure when you're studying that you guys study at home as well as coming to these reviews or watching the review, because we're unable to cover every single thing you guys do in this semester. If we did that, we'd be here for a very long time. But we try to just highlight the main points that you guys should know from each week of content and highlight the main ideas, but definitely do some review of your own notes and resources from class, because you'll need to study for your final. So that's just a note about that. So these review sessions are great to attend to reinforce your knowledge, but definitely do some studying of more of your notes, because we didn't incorporate everything in today's review. Today's review is going to be of week 6 through 9 material. If you recall, that's from exam 2. And 2 side notes that I didn't say at the last review is that I heard that Laura reopened the assessment quizzes and the pre-lecture quizzes. I think she said the assessment quiz is open until Monday midnight. Or no, I'm sorry. I'm not sure if that's assessment or pre-lecture quiz, but just go back and read her email, because I think she said that, I don't know if it was pre-lecture quiz was reopened and the assessment quiz. I need to double check. So sorry. Just let me just double check and I'll email the class afterwards. But the second thing I'm gonna mention is, please make sure the forward focus survey, raise your hand please if you did the survey already. Okay, that's most of you. Please make sure if you didn't do the survey, please do it, because these points will be added to your grand total that you receive in this class. And as you guys know, according to the syllabus, it's a points-based class. So the class is out of 514. So let's say you had 500 out of 514, you did this survey, you'd have 505 out of 514. So it just gets added to your total that you earn in the class, and whatever total points you accumulate in the class is divided by 514, and that's your grade. But you can look more into that on the syllabus for the grade divisions, but please do the survey. It's only gonna benefit you and give you more points in this class. Any questions about anything I said? Okay, thank you very much for the clarification. So pre-lecture quizzes close Tuesday, you said? Pre-lecture quizzes close Tuesday night and assessment quizzes close Monday night for the people who need to redo those. Thank you for the clarification, I appreciate that. So yeah, those are all the announcements I have. And please don't forget your cheat sheet. Sometimes people forget the cheat sheet and it makes me tear up because I never got a cheat sheet when I took this class. You guys are blessed with this opportunity to have a cheat sheet. So please don't forget that to your exam, please. Okay, and these are active studying tips I say every single time, but I know you guys can read, so we're gonna skip that. Okay, I'm not sure how many of you have attended reviews in the past, but just letting everybody know, broadcasting it to the whole world, final exam substitution policy. There is a special policy Laura has in place for this class, which can allow a student, I'm sorry, do you have my phone? Anyway, that can allow a student who got a lower exam grade on their midterm to have that substituted by their final. So if your final basically beats your lowest midterm score, your final will count, that percentage of your final will count for like the lower midterm score gets substituted out. So this is just an example of this policy, and this is just an example of how it wouldn't work and how it would work. So student A, you can see their lowest midterm score was 78 here, but the final they got a 75, so there's no change in their score, meaning the substitution policy is not applied because the final exam is lower than their lowest midterm. And student B here, you can see the first exam, their lowest score here, exam 2, and the final, they got an 85, but because they did better on the final than their lowest midterm, their exam 1 grade gets removed and replaced by the final exam grade. And so that's shown by the 42.5 out of 50. So the 85% basically counts for twice here. Can I get a thumbs up that that makes sense? Because that's listed on your syllabus as well. But I'm aware people don't read the syllabus, so that's why I say it. Okay, and yeah, so the whole idea behind the substitution policy, for people who are wondering, is the professor does this because she believes that one grade and one bad grade, however you define that for the class, is not game over. Meaning that like if you don't do too hot on an exam or you have a difficult day and you didn't do well in the exam, that it shouldn't be something that like your grade like suffers from. And for the most part, in the semesters I've TA'd, I've seen students do really well in the final, and that substitution policy helps them and basically rewards them for understanding the content on the final in that regard. So does that make sense why the policy exists and everything? Great. Okay, this is a list of content being covered today, but as you guys know, we're doing a Kahoot today. So I need people to make sure they have their smartphones out and devices, and we're gonna go to the Kahoot to join. Once I get the link. Is this thing? Okay. Okay, how do I just to play teach? I didn't know there's so many different modes. Okay, what's a sign? Why does it have a globe? No, just teach. A single player game with virtual, no, this one. Okay, I didn't know there's like teacher mode now apparently for Kahoot, so I'm still learning everything. Let's see here, shuffle questions. Okay, I tried to practice an example of this so that I wouldn't screw it up today, so please bear with me. Okay, automatically, no. There's a way to randomize the question. Okay, never mind. And original music, I think. And then, okay, I guess I'll just do this. No, I guess I don't qualify for that. Okay, never mind. Sorry. I think that's all I have to do, right, David? Just shuffle the questions like that in a random order. Okay, I hope so. Anyway. Okay, so once you see the game pin on the screen, you're just going to, oh, I probably should have mentioned this. Silly me. When you go into this Kahoot, you have to do kahoot.it for your device that you're playing on. So the cell phone, you can put kahoot.it, or the laptop, kahoot.it. And then once you go to that link, it'll come up with somewhere to enter the game pin. And the game pin is this number. So you'll enter this 7-digit number. So you have to just do kahoot.it. We'll give it some time for people to add. Oh, I wasn't sharing the screen. Sorry, for people on YouTube who need to know how to use the Kahoot, you just go to kahoot.it and then you join with the game pin to be able to play that. Sorry. I really like the music. Okay, how many of you are in here? 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay, about 23.
They can join as well, like
Hmm?
they can join like mid-game.
Yeah, I think you can join mid-game.
Yeah.
I'd hope so. I don't know if I screwed it anyway. Okay. Can people give me a thumbs up that they're ready? Oh, I like that this is being advertised. Okay, great. Sorry. So people are ready, thumbs up, or raise your hand that you signed in. People who want to play. Great. Okay. Be prepared because these questions are fire. Me and David spent a lot of time creating them. And good luck. Also, we're gonna explain the questions to the answers. People see it on screen. Okay, here we go. Start with the screen. Ooh. Okay, David, you want to explain?
You want to explain everyone or just
I don't know. Okay,
like
can
go
people?
through them and then do you guys want to like go through all the questions first and then you can like mark like real quick like which ones if you want
Or
to, like,
maybe
go
we
over
can
them
just do,
after?
you know what, we could do this. Thumbs up if you understand why the answer is circle. Does anyone have any questions about why the answer is circle, or do people understand? Because we could explain after each question. We're just trying to figure out whether people want to move to the next question or you want us to explain.
Might as well just keep on chugging
Okay.
just to get through them.
Okay,
And then,
yeah, just to go through the questions, and then please stop us if you're like, this doesn't make sense, or it might be wrong, or X, Y, Z.
we can
but-
also like write like a little description of how to get the answer on like
Yeah.
there's like a document after to give you, which we can like add a little
Anyways,
blurb.
but just for this one, microtubule growth, I think is just random. And so there's no way to really say all of the microtubules shorten or all of them lengthen at the same time. It's kind of like a randomized process. So that's why circle would be the acceptable answer. You can just give a quick little summary. Oh, yeah. Okay. Did you join the?
No.
Oh, okay. Wait, sorry. I want everyone to be able to be in it. The game pin is at the bottom. If you have to just do kahoot.it. You see in the bottom the corner, it just says how to.
I'm blind,
Okay,
so-
no, I'll read it. 788. Okay. Sorry, I want everybody to have a chance to experience its glory. Okay. I'll just write this. Is there a prize for the winner? Let's see. I'm not Bill Gates, so I can't give out money. Unlimited swipes at Grab and Go. Listen, I'll take you to Grab and Go. You can get as much food as you want. I have an unlimited dining plan. How's that sound? Okay. Are you, Tian, do you want the?
Yeah.
Okay, great. But sorry, just want to make sure. Equality for everybody. Kahoot. Okay, great. Next question. We won't read it. We'll assume you guys can read. So we want to read. Oh. Okay, wait. In the growth factor signaling pathway, RAS activates MAP kinase by phosphorylating it. Is that true or false? Sorry, I didn't realize people can't see that. Okay. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. 8 people got it wrong. Okay. So this question was asking, does RAS activate MAP kinase by phosphorylating it? And can someone tell me why the answer is false? Okay, Morgan.
No one really knows exactly how this happens, as far as Dr. Francis has kind of explained, but basically, once RAS is activated, somehow activates that capability.
Excellent. You said it so great. Basically, what's going on here is that RAS is not a kinase. Therefore, it does not phosphorylate MAPK3, aka MAP kinase. It just will reach out and touch it, and that causes it to become active. At least that's the phrase she used in like when I took the class. It does not phosphorylate it because it's not a kinase. But does that make sense for the people who didn't get that question correct? Why that is false? Or like that was a trick question? Like I said, these questions, you gotta think about them. Oh, okay, good job, Shirley. You climbed. Okay. Sorry. It's gonna be on YouTube. Oh my god. Okay. I shouldn't have played in silence, but I like the music. Yeah, but I did that. The questions are shuffled, so week 6, 7, and 8 are shuffled. Makes it more difficult. We didn't hear what the spot. Yeah, once again,
So when you said that.
whatever the email was I sent out right after I got back from yeah, this, I think it's one away. Taking the email. Oh, okay. There's some division going on here, just like clicker in class. Okay. The answer was G2 phase. Can anyone tell me why? No one?
You got it right.
Who got it right and can tell me why?
Or
Go
like
ahead.
go for it or attempt it.
Go for it. It's okay to try, guys. It's okay. Go on. Go ahead. I'm not gonna be like you're wrong. Just try it and see your explanation. This one is just from the cell cycle and it has to do with just the mechanism. But if anyone wanted to try to explain, good practice
Okay,
for your
yeah.
exam,
So these CDK or G2 CDK complex starts to like build up at the level of like G2 cycles go up, or it starts to build up like throughout the cell cycle of G1S, G2 phase, but only at the very end of G2 phase does that complex become activated by like whatever the cell deems it time of flight. CDC25 phosphatation is activated, it will remove the inhibitory E1 phosphate, which then that also causes
Positive
yeah, it causes a positive
feedback.
feedback because CDC or CDK starts to like activate more CDC25.
Yep.
And I think it might also inhibit E1.
Yep. So it activates. It phosphorylates CT25. It's activated more. And it also so it's like a positive feedback loop. And late G2 phase is when this is happening.
Good job.
Good answer, Gabe.
Ooh. Oh, the first place is just being snatched. Love it. High climber. Okay, next question. I like this competition. I like this. Competing for grab and go. It's great. Okay, this is week 6. Pathways. Hint, you need to look at survival pathway. Yeah, you can. There is a way you
I was
can
gonna say,
fix it.
I don't know how to play it.
Like, I got play. Yeah, we're gonna do it. Once we get to like hour and a half or so. Yeah, I figured out when I was practicing. And then we can practice the rest. You just wanted to skip it over.
Oh, there's
Okay, I don't know. Wait for the timer, I guess. Maybe the thing is where you can skip. No, no, I think this way. See if it's loaded. Okay. Ooh, that was like 50-50 split. Okay, so BCL2 protein that is active but cannot bind to bad would cause dot dot dot. Okay, so for this one, I think the person who was trying to ask the question didn't have enough character space, but was trying to phrase it as though there's a mutation in your BCL2 protein, the gain of function mutation, meaning that it's active, but it's just unable to bind to bad. So can anyone tell me, now knowing that background information, that if we have active BCL2, what happens in the survival pathway? Go ahead.
The BCL2 is no bound, so it's not being
Not being inhibited by what?
Oh.
Yes,
Yeah.
good one, good. Okay, so if BCL2 is active, then what would happen? Yes, correct. Okay, great. So basically, as you mentioned, if BCL2 is active, it's not being inhibited by bad, which means that your cell would survive because BCL2, if you guys recall, it's the last step of survival pathway. It will go and cause cell survival to happen. Laura doesn't get into much of the details, but I know she said like it just will go and like probably bind to other proteins downstream and lead to cell survival. So which means it inhibits cell death. So yeah, so that's the answer for that. Can I get a thumbs up? Does that make sense? Thank you. Appreciate the thumbs up. Ooh. Oh, what does highest climate mean? I'm curious. Okay. What a music. Oh, the music. Okay, the cancer caused by a gain of function mutation in RAS. Okay, this sounds incorrect. A cancer is caused by the gain of function mutation in RAS. You want to treat the patient, so you're like a doctor of some kind or something. You give the patient a RAS-YEF inhibitor, and this would cause blank. Sorry, it's quite an involved question. That's why we gave you 90 seconds. Kind of tricky. Babies.
yours.
Have character space, so like,
You want
that's a
treat
grammatically
patient.
so I want to explain this one a little bit more just so that they can understand and they can apply it to the other ones because there's like other situations. We know the answer to this one, right? You give them. No, I think it just means. Go to the slides. Oh, I know that one was a hard question, right? It's kind of tricky. So, okay, the correct answer for this question is the inhibitor is not an effective treatment for the patient. Did anyone want to try explaining why, or is that one? Actually, you know what? I might explain that one because that was a tricky one. I'm not sure who made these questions, but that one was kind of hard. Okay, wait, let me just find the thing. I have these slides. You guys have access to these slides, by the way. I sent them earlier today. Okay, so in this question, we have this patient that has a cancer caused by gain of function in RAS. And so this just means gain of function of RAS means RAS is always on and always active. And if you're trying to treat this cancer, if you're trying to treat cancer, you're trying to stop this pathway from working. And this pathway, if you guys remember, the RAS-MAPK, that's a cell division pathway. And so when RAS is always active in this cancer, the reason why it's so detrimental to someone's health is because RAS is active, will activate the MAP kinase cascade and lead to tons of cell division. So we want to stop that from happening. And so in the question, you as the doctor or some other doctor suggests that if you treat the patient with RAS-GEF, could that possibly prevent this cell from dividing and having tons of cell division and be a cure for cancer? So let's look at that really quick. So RAS-GEF is this protein here, RAS activating protein. What does it do in a normal pathway? It exchanges GDP for GTP and causes RAS to become active. And then when RAS is active, it will cause the activation of the kinase cascade and lead to cell division. However, in this question, we have a pathway gone wrong, a cancerous pathway where RAS is always active regardless of whether there's signal or no signal or all the events before it. So RAS will always be active. And if we inhibit the protein that causes RAS to become active, do you guys think that that would work in treating cancer even though RAS is always active? No, exactly. Which is why the answer is the inhibitor is not an effective treatment for the patient. That question kind of took a lot of thinking to think it through. But because RAS is always active, the protein that activates RAS, even if you stop that from working properly, it's not going to effectively shut down the pathway or treat the cancer. So that's why cells will constantly continue to divide, even if you inhibited the function of RAS-GEF. So can I get a thumbs up if that made sense? That was a tough one. So, yeah.
If it wasn't a gain of function mutation, it would.
Interesting. You're suggesting a whole different question. Okay, wait. I have to think about that. Cancer is caused by. So if there is a loss of function mutation in RAS. Wait, say your question again?
Just if it wasn't a gain of function mutation, like if it was just more and that you were suggesting that
That's kind of a tough one because, like, I think if you had loss of function mutation in RAS, RAS wouldn't be active, right? Loss of function meaning its function of like being able to be active and activate the MAP kinase 3, that it wouldn't be active. But I feel like I see where you're going with that because I feel like if RAS-GEF helps RAS to be active and RAS has a loss of function mutation, then like RAS would be off. And when if RAS-GEF like usually activates RAS, in a way, I think that could work. I think I just need to think about that a little bit more. But I think I get what you're saying, that if the question was phrased as like RAS was, if it was, let's say if it was like wild type RAS or normal RAS, and you're trying to like shut down this pathway, then absolutely, if you inhibit RAS-GEF, then RAS will not become active. That's a good question. Thank you. Okay. Oh, somebody's on fire over here. Fire. Okay, sorry. Okay, now we're gonna look at JAXStat. You guys can see on your device the question and the options, correct? Someone show me like what it looks like. Again, okay, you guys see the question. Is it like a, okay, no, you guys can see it. Oh, okay, I zoom in like this. Okay, so it's your STAT 5 pathway. By the way, I sent the slides. So if you guys want to read the slides to see your pathways in big picture, you can see. But I know the Kahoot makes it small, baby picture. But yeah, I try to make it zoomed out so you can see the options, but I think your phone screen should show more. Hello, you can still join the Kahoot with the link. You've used Kahoot before? You've used Kahoot before? Okay, you can just sign on with the link. I have the link here. Sorry. This is the link to sign up. If you do kahoot.it, you can just take the bait.
Oh, thank you.
Actually, maybe you bring it back in case somebody come late.
Thank you.
Okay, so this one, when the receptor is phosphorylated in the JAK-STAT pathway, sorry guys, I didn't have enough character space. The next step is blank. Many of you got the answer correct, which was STAT5 binds to receptor because SH2 domain is located there. Okay, so this question is just basically the step-by-step what happens next. So in this pathway, well, I'm not going to explain all of it because there's still more questions on that, but I'll just explain this little part of it. So when the receptor is phosphorylated, we're at this step. What would happen next at that point? Once the receptor becomes phosphorylated, the STAT5s latch onto this SH2 domain here. That's the next step. And then, yeah, so it's just like kind of like figuring out what happens next. I don't want to give too much away because there's more questions on that, but I'll explain each situation. Does that make sense? Thumbs up? Okay, most of you got it right, so I'm happy. It means that the question was fair for you guys to figure out what it was. Okay, oh. Okay, microtubule question. No, this question's too easy. I should have skipped this.
In all my sets, I try to put like incrementally harder.
No, I just went full brute force, just made it hard. Not hard, but it's easy. It's hard to think in 90 seconds. This one was one of the easiest.
I was doing biochem. So I felt like
Minimize intensities from like anatomy class, like physiology. Okay, are we ready? Everybody answer? I'm gonna be.
oh, that's
Sorry, we just realized you can skip and set up the timer. Anyway. How organelles transport? You want to explain this?
I think everyone got that one.
Okay, that one makes sense, right? It's just the role of motor proteins. That's just that one. Thumbs up that that makes sense. Okay, great. Now we realize we can stop the timer. We can move through swiftly. Yes, sorry. Good job, leaderboard people. Okay, ooh. Ooh. I remember this one was on my exam. There was a whole category of proteins, and I remember just like second guessing everything.
Is that your right phone?
Okay. Oh, a split. Can somebody tell me why it's true?
The JAKs are kinases, so they're enzymes. It's the receptors that aren't enzymes in this pathway.
Excellent stuff. Excellent. You said it just loud enough for YouTubers to hear. Okay, JAK stands for just another kinase. The name is the acronym itself. Kinases are examples of enzymes. Why are they enzymes? Kinases cleave phosphates off of ATP and tack them onto other substrates or proteins. So that's just the main idea about that. So yes, JAKs have like enzymatic reaction of phosphorylating things. It's like an example of like an enzymatic reaction. Does that make sense for people who said triangle? People who were wrong, just to make sure we're on the right page. Great. Oh, some competition here. Ooh, true or false. So these questions are shuffled, so I don't even know what's coming up next. That's right. Yeah. We're gonna shut it down in 3, 2, 1. Sorry, but just for time's sake. Okay. So can anyone explain why this statement is false? Because this got half of you. Go ahead.
Only one of the
So-
Not quite, not quite. Read the question again, read the question again. No. Okay, Sorry, I didn't mean it to be
Oh,
like that.
GTP.
Wait a minute. Someone else, please. Why is it wrong? Go on.
Yeah.
Exactly. So please, reminder, read the question very, very carefully. One word, a whole different question.
I didn't really word it kind of like,
Okay, maybe we messed up the wording.
Generic,
We should have
but-
worded it, as the specific kind. Has the ability to hydrolyze GTP. So yeah, the reason why this statement is false is because tubular subunits hydrolyze GTP, but it's a specific kind. Sorry, I just want to double check my notes now because you clarified that. But there's a specific kind, I can't remember if it's beta or alpha. I just want to make sure I tell people the right thing. Okay. So yeah, the beta subunits have the ability to hydrolyze GTP. You're correct. But the reason why the statement was false, and we should have maybe specified in the question, but we're just trying to get at the fact that it's not ATP dehydrolyzes GTP. But do you see how just one letter off? You see, read these carefully, people. At least you know now. So when you take the exam, you read it very carefully. Okay, fantastic. Next question. Microtubule stop again.
not pathways.
Darn. One and a half hours. Yeah, in like I think 2 hours. Maybe 8 o'clock or something. We can see what far we're at, and then maybe and then they can do the rest.
We get like 30 questions.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
if you
small.
could finish it, it's
They'll be
just
able to
as
see
good.
it. Then they
Just
can
as-
practice. We have the
Well, like if you do one, like do the original sheet and then do another sheet with just like the different pattern.
no, we don't need to go messy. They have like at least if you count this one and the 2 from last year, they have at least like 150 to work with.
Okay.
So they can actually practice this at home. We made it public so they can do it. So we can get to see how much we get in. Maybe see that week. And then see that. Okay. This one I don't think requires much explanation. Saxol is just a drug that is an example of a microtubule stabilizer from your notes. But we did include that in the slides. If anyone's seen my slides today, send the email. Okay, next. Ooh, pathway. Okay, this one just another what happens next question. So after step 5 binds to the prolactin receptor, the next step is blank. So like this part. The 16 questions you made, no? I turned it into a practice sheet, so I'll send that.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So, correct answer to complete this statement is JAK proteins in close proximity can phosphorylate the STAT monomers. So yes, I was just asking what happens after the STAT5 bind to the receptor, the next step. So it's just that the JAK proteins, these blue ones, can phosphorylate them. Does that make sense for people who didn't quite get it at first? I know the picture is tiny. I'm really sorry. Okay, next question. Okay.
It's kind of repeat.
Okay, I'm skipping it. Sorry, because we just did. We just answered that. I'm so sorry. Just trying to make sure we get through all the questions. But
Next
we just
question.
talked about it. But we'll go through it again. Sorry, that was kind of abrupt. Okay. Okay, wait, as long as I didn't screw this up. Okay. Small, very hydrophilic signal. In other words, sorry, people I think realizing Why they got it right? Wrong, right? Okay. Hydrophilic signal would bind to cell surface receptor. Why? Because the cell membrane is selective and only lets in small hydrophobic things. So something that's hydrophilic polar would not be permitted to pass through the cell membrane. Therefore, the receptor will be found on the exterior surface. Does that make sense as to why that is triangle? Thank you. So yeah, people who said the diamond or the other one, yeah. Okay, okay, next. Sorry. We'll see the leaderboard at the end. Oh, okay. Survival signaling pathway. Ooh, this is intense. Okay, sorry. The sound effects are just funny to me. Okay. Most of you got it correct. I believe it would be that the cell would undergo programmed cell death. Okay, can anyone tell me why? Why it's circle? Okay, you're close. You're very close. I just want to make sure like the wording of it. So basically in this one, we have amino acid in bad that gets mutated to lauranine, fancy new amino acid that cannot be phosphorylated. And so in this pathway, normally what happens, you have active AKT, it will phosphorylate bad. When bad is phosphorylated, bad becomes inactive. It's no longer holding BCL2 hostage, and that means BCL2 can run free and save the day, aka cell survival. So in this pathway, because the what was the question? The amino acid cannot be phosphorylated. Sorry, amino acid cannot be phosphorylated in bad. Therefore, if bad cannot be phosphorylated, then bad will be stuck to BCL2, and BCL2 is the apoptosis inhibitor, which means it's a cell death inhibitor. So if you're blocking the thing that prevents cell death, if you're hindering the protein that can save the cell, you get cell death. BCL2 is trapped and can't help cell survival. Did that make sense? I feel like the explanation sounded better in my head. It made sense? Okay. I know, tricky question, but I told you these questions are fire. Okay, next. Do you want to skip this one or do you want to do this one? Yeah, people don't care. We got just making sure. When I get through like all categories of the question and it's shuffled, so I just remember. Ah, interesting.
That was an exam question.
Yes. Okay. In JAK-STAT pathway, the JAKs must have an SH2 domain. Let's see the image. JAKs. Okay, why is the statement false? Anyone? Somebody new. Okay, go ahead.
Because it's the receptor that switch to step
Yes, very good. Okay, so sorry.
I would also say that, I mean, in the photo, Jack never binds to a phosphorylated tyrosine. So that's like the definition of like an SH2 domain. So that's all.
Yes, so basically SE2 domain is phosphotyrosine domain, which is just a binding site. I think in your slides, I actually put notes about domains. I just need to, I guess, No, okay. I'm gonna add those to your slides. I thought I had the notes on those on the ones I shared with the class, but I guess no. Okay. Okay, let's do the next question. I'm gonna add those notes and go back and rework my explanation. How many seconds do we have? Yeah, I have it. Okay. Oh wow, almost all of you got it right. Okay, I wonder where my image is. I usually have the show image. If bad is mutated so that it has a weaker affinity for BCL2, then cell survival would happen. Can anyone explain why that one? The answer is that answer. Or do people want me to explain it really quick? Because I could explain it, but you guys should know this stuff. You know, you have to explain. Okay, go ahead.
If that isn't able to bind or like hang on to BCL2, then BCL2 is pretty much always going to be free to inhibit apoptosis.
Excellent answer. But yes, the term affinity is just associated with how well substrate and protein can bind to each other. So if something has a weaker affinity, it's just more likely to let go of it or not hold on, bind as strongly. So excellent. So if bad cannot bind as strongly to BCL2, then we'd imagine BCL2 would roam free, save the day. We get cell survival. Excellent. That made sense? Thumbs up? Great. Ooh. These are all captions randomly thrown in there. Oh, oh no, it explains what P10 is. Okay. Answer inhibition of survival. I don't know why I wrote it like that. Okay. So if there's a gain of function in P10, a phosphatase that removes phosphates from PIP3, otherwise known as phosphorylated inositol phospholipid, can anyone explain why that would cause cell death? I'm gonna give you guys an image. I know it's hard to remember to think back. Okay. Can anyone explain? Okay, go ahead.
Actually, got this one wrong, but
That's okay. We're gonna learn from our mistakes here.
okay. So if you remove that like phosphate, then AKT and the other one won't be able to bind to that site. In a way, like the transformation will not happen.
What?
So I need in order for AKT to bond, we need PIP with the three.
Yes, very good. Okay, so basically, P10, as pictured here in the slide, removes a phosphate from PIP3. You remove a phosphate from PIP3, you're left with PIP2. P10 basically reverses the action of this protein here, PI3 kinase. So if you're stuck with PIP2, it's not going to be able to bind to protein kinase 1 and AKT, as you said, because these ones require PIP3 or phosphorylated inositol phospholipid to bind there because that's what fits the pH domain in these two. Does that make sense? And so if PIP3, if you don't have PIP3 due to a gain of function in this phosphatase, then you're not going to be able to have active protein kinase 1 or you won't be able to have active AKT. And so no active AKT, you won't be able to have the rest of the pathway happen and that will lead to cell death. Can I get a thumbs up that that makes sense? Ooh, I need a charger. Uh-oh. Okay. Oh, 50-50 split. This one was a hard question though. Okay, can anyone explain why it is false? Why wouldn't, I guess I feel like, let's see. Why aren't they examples of enzymes? If anyone wants to explain RAS-GAP, actually, that one usually is the one that gets students. Yes? Let me just find the image. Right. Yeah, I think that's just, yeah. So you're right about that. So basically, a lot of students tend to get this one wrong on exams, so that's why I'm going over this. But essentially speaking, GAP and GAFs are enzymes that regulate, excuse me, no, they're not enzymes. They're proteins that regulate enzymes, what I was trying to say. So that's why the statement is false. And the way GAP regulates other proteins or an enzyme such as RAN in the nuclear import, GAP will bind to RAN. Let's imagine this is RAN. And what it will do is it'll accelerate GTP hydrolysis because RAN is a GTPase, which means it has the ability to hydrolyze GTP and a GDP. It does it by itself. That's what we call intrinsic GTPase activity, but it does so at a very slow rate. So it enlists the help of the GAP protein, which binds to RAN and accelerates the hydrolysis. So RAN itself, so GAP is not the one doing the hydrolyzing of GTP and a GDP. That's a big misconception I always see for that one. So that's why GAP is not an enzyme. And the GAF, all GAF does is just take GDP and it will bind to, let's say this is RAN again, it will bind to RAN and cause RAN to have low affinity for GDP, and then GTP will diffuse into that binding pocket. And so GEF just exchanges GDP for GTP, which causes a protein to become active. And GAP will speed up the hydrolysis of GTP in a protein. So the protein goes from being changed to GTP to GDP. When a protein is bound to GDP, it's inactive. Did that explanation make sense? Okay, great. Ooh. Okay, wait. we gotta get to the shuffle of questions. Why they all pathway? I thought the shuffle would like make the In GPCR pathway, if GPCR has gain of function mutation causing the GPCR to always be active, then signaling would occur more often than normal. That's just, if GPCR, the squiggly black thing, was always active, then there would be a lot of signaling happening, which is down here. And the pathway will just keep cycling this way. Did that make sense? Just if you make the pathway like overactive in that regard. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna skip this one. Because this is in a shuffle mode, I thought it's gonna get to like cell cycle at least, but I don't know why it's not like mixing up all the, oh, okay, cell cycle. In which parts of G1 phase is CDK active? Oh, good question. Okay, gonna shut it down in 3, 2, 1. Okay, The answer is late G1. I'm gonna find a slide associated with that. Just can't remember what
Does
the
anyone-
question said.
Want to explain why they think it's late? If I got it right or wrong?
Yeah, go ahead.
If it becomes active too early, it inhibits PRC
PRC, yeah.
formation.
That's correct.
That's what I would say.
Sorry, I just was trying to find the associated slide with that.
So basically, like she said, if it becomes active too early, it's going to inhibit the PRC forming.
Okay. Sorry, I couldn't find the slide, but I'll find it later. Also, you guys will get this Kahoot after the review session. You can play, study for the exam, play with friends, you know. We'll give you guys the link because we're not going to get through all 62 questions. Sorry. Yeah, and a whole new worksheet with new questions too. It's going to be good. Oh, okay. Cancer is caused by gain of function mutation in RAS. The same question as before. However, wait, is this the same? No, it's different.
No.
However, you're trying to treat the patient. If you give a patient RTK inhibitor, what would happen? I need to think about this. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Interesting. More people got this one wrong than right. So I'm gonna walk through how to do it. Okay, so gain of function in RAS. This cancer causes gain of function in RAS, which means RAS is always active. We're trying to treat this cancer patient so that their pathway, the vision pathway is not always active. So they suggest giving the patient an RTK inhibitor. Okay, so if RAS is always active, meaning it's always bound to GTP and always leading to the activation of the kinase cascade, do you think that if we inhibited RTK, there would be any change? No. Yeah, so that's just like the main idea for that question is because RAS has this gain of function mutation, it's going to be active no matter what. So if there's signal or no signal. So even if you break everything before it, before RAS becomes active, it doesn't matter for this scenario because RAS will always be active, is permanently active in this cancerous pathway. So RAS is always active in this scenario, which means you get MAP kinase cascade activation and transcription factors, which lead to cell division. So division keeps happening. So this would not be an effective way to cure the patient because RAS would still be active. We have to disable RAS being active in a different way and not use the RTK inhibitor. Because that's like the same thing as saying that if you remove the signal, would RAS still be able to activate MAP kinase cascade? So that's like kind of like the same idea. So regardless if there's signal or no signal or anything before RAS will still be active and leading to massive loads of cell division. Does that make sense for why that one is triangle? Okay. Okay, these are all pathway. I'm gonna skip it because there's a lot of pathway. I'm trying to get to like the rest of the material. So, but you guys will get these slides later, I promise. Not slides. You'll get access to the game so you can practice at home these questions. So all pathway. Sorry. I made like pathways a little too much. But there's microtubule questions. I promise they're not. There's microtubule questions and cell cycle questions. I don't know. Okay, wait. It's so annoying. Oh, okay. Still related to week 6, but not pathway. Okay, so the answer to this one is signal crosstalk, which is just it's like just a vocabulary term that defines how pathways, they don't just work in isolation, they work as a team to make events in the cell happen. I had an example of this if anyone was interested in seeing it. Yeah, so that's just the example of what she was saying in class, how pathways don't just work alone. They're interconnected, meaning that a protein from one pathway can activate or inhibit another protein from a different pathway. So that's just the main idea there. It's a vocab term. Okay, we're skipping this. We did this. Sorry. Just trying to make it like, less about pathways, but everything is okay. Oh, okay. Sounds like cool. All the questions are shuffled, by the way, so I can't tell what comes up or what doesn't. Okay, you can explain this one because this is a good question. Actually. Sorry. So sorry. I just want to make sure we get through like as much like less pathways and like even out the material. But you can go ahead.
So, what's the question? Would RB being phosphorylate happen in the cell?
You made this one.
So this was kind of going back to basically RB being phosphorylated releases E2F, then E2F is going to transcribe proteins needed for future steps in the cell cycle. So if there was DNA damage, the cell wouldn't be transcribing these proteins. I think there's another, there was something else I wanted to relate it to.
Okay.
Oh, and also like to the contrary, P53, which is when activated, is a CDK inhibitor, which prevents the cell from going further into the cell cycle of the cell, so the cell can fix any DNA damage that it has.
Ooh, microtubules. Had to get through like 10 halfway ones in a row. Okay, 3, 2, last chance, 1. Oh, good job, most of you. Got it right. So correct answer here would be allows behavior of dynamic instability. Okay, this one's kind of just a definition question, but it's just like microtubules like growing and shrinking like the ends. But that just has to do with like GTP hydrolysis and GTP addition that causes dynamic instability to occur. Does that make sense for why that answer is that answer? Thank you. Okay, no, we skipping. Actually, no, we'll do this one. I know it's pathways again, but it's a good question. Question
Yeah.
There's only one protein we talked about in this class that has both the SH2 and SH3. And you can peek your slides too, View those. 3, 2, 1. Okay, good. Great. Okay. Correct answer for that one is GRAB2, also known as adaptor protein. Where can we find it? In this, yes, in this pathway here. So GRAB2 or adaptor protein has SH2 domain that allows it to bind to the active RTK, but also has SH3 domain, which allows it to bind to the RAS activating protein or the RAS-GEF. And if you guys need notes on domains, they're included in here. Where? Here. All the different kinds of domains from this class, which I sent these slides. But if I forgot, you can let me know. Does that make sense? Okay, just trying to make sure we get through like a good mix of microtubule stuff. Sounds like we're in the packet. Which reminds me, I'm gonna skip this one. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure we get through like even amount of material. But the shuffle really likes pathways today. Okay, no, we did this. No, I gave you the reverse answer for that now. Okay, okay, microtubules. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Anyone want to say why it is diamond? Or is the answer, or rhombus? Or anyone? No? Okay. That one is just because I think this was just in your notes that the different types of drugs there are for microtubules, and colchicine is just an example of microtubule destabilizer, which means it makes them less stable, or more likely to like fall apart the ends. Ooh, okay, microtubule questions. Absorbance. Very good. Okay, where can we find this? It's just, you know, when you look at your class notes, your graphs, you see it. Absorbance. Eh, I'm sorry, wait.
Oh, no.
No, I said why. So sorry. But please, now you notice that you picked up on that now. You'll know for the exam to read it very carefully. That's why we do these life lessons here. Okay, no. Okay, next question. Sorry, too many prompting. Okay, ooh. Okay, we'll do this one. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Ah, okay, interesting. I got some of you, but remember, we read the question carefully. It says non-hydrolyzable ATP. Is ATP involved in microtubule growth at all? No. Not, I think I remember having one of these on like a problem set before, but I don't know about the exam. But I'm just giving you, you know, just read it carefully.
If she gives you multiple choice, it's going to be exactly like your assessment quiz.
Similar.
Not like the same questions, but like the type of questions. So I guess use that to gauge.
I'm not sure how many multiple choice she's putting on there. What?
50?
Wait, where did you see that from? Because I actually was waiting for that
I
day.
went to office hours. and she said,
When?
Last week, like
Okay.
Wednesday. And then she said, like, the other is supposed to be the same as like the
Regular.
honorable, yeah.
Oh,
the
because a
midterm
regular
and then
midterm is
to make it
50
up 100
points.
points,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, 50.
Honorable, like,
Okay. Okay, listen. This is just I'm not gonna deny or claim. Just email her, please, to figure out how many, but I'm not sure.
She's not sure.
We're still unsure, but okay. Yeah, so people on YouTube, we don't know yet for sure how many multiple choices on there. Not trying to start rumors. Anyway. Okay, no, we're gonna skip the pathway. I'm really sorry. You guys can practice this at home, I promise you. Yeah. Okay, maybe we do this one. Yeah. All squares are rectangles. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Oh, almost everybody. Okay. I don't think she'd ever try to ask you one like this, but I just thought I'd throw it in there just to see. But anyways, based on the week 6 enzymes we looked at from the pathways, okay, not every single protein in the pathways are considered to be enzymes, but all the enzymes that are included in some of those pathways are proteins. I don't know how that works, but I feel like when it comes to enzyme questions, students just assume everything is an enzyme, but that's not the case. You have to really think of each one and what it does, whether it's involved in some sort of GTPase hydrolysis or a reaction of some kind, enzymatic reaction. So that's just the main idea behind that question. Did that make sense? Thank you. Oh, no pathways again. Okay, we'll just do this one. Yeah, I said week 6. I was like, okay, we're gonna zoom in. Okay, STAT behaves as both a protein and a transcription factor. Okay, why is it true? Go ahead.
Oh, so that's transcription factor because like sometimes we do protein and the protein because it's just like get transformed.
Yes. Yes. So STAT5, STAT5 is a protein. But proteins can be transcription factors too. But in this specific case, STAT5 would be considered to behave as both a protein, like in the pathway, and a transcription factor because it will enter the nucleus and binds to DNA. And as we know, when we looked at transcription, transcription factors bind to DNA and encourage transcription. What type of transcription is going on here? Transcription of milk protein genes. And you know, if you remember this from exam 2, I said that the purpose of this entire pathway is to create milk protein genes involved in lactation. So that's why, oh, yeah, so that's why that one is true. Does that make sense? Fantastic. Okay. Okay, no, we're gonna skip the pathway. We gotta make sure we go through, the other stuff. Pathways is not the main character of this review, I promise. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure we get through like more microtubules, but the shuffle keeps doing a pathway. I'm so sorry. Okay, what? Twice? That can't be right. Okay, I'm lost. I don't know why I came up twice. My mistake. Okay, anyway, really sorry. Oh, actually, let's do this one. This one's important to clarify. I'm trying to like get to the majority and not just the path. So. Okay. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, interesting. Okay, so we have this situation again, cancer caused by gain of function mutation in RAS. Okay, I'm just gonna go through this one only because I thought it was important to clarify from the other ones. Oh, wrong pathway. Okay, so if we have this cancer that's caused by gain of function mutation in RAS, RAS is permanently active. When RAS is active, what does it do? Activates kinase cascade, leading to transcription factors that get activated, leading to cell division. So cell division is happening constantly in this cell path, in this cancerous pathway. So now, as a physician or biology specialist, you decide to attack the cancer by providing a MAPK inhibitor, which is this protein here, kinase here. So if you effectively shut off MAP kinase, then do you think that there would still be cell division happening in this pathway? No. Okay. And so MAP kinase is kind of like the key to it all in this pathway. So if you shut off MAP kinase, you basically cut off the pathway from being able to activate transcription factors. And then the transcription factors wouldn't transcribe DNA and lead to cell division. So that cell division point here is cut off because you're inhibiting MAP kinase. So even though you have active RAS activating the MAP kinase cascade, if MAP kinase is shut off, then the component that's required to encourage cell division would not work properly. So you wouldn't get cell division, which is a good thing in this case because we're trying to shut down cancer, which is just overactive cell division. Does that make sense why the treatment would work? Okay, I just thought I'd clarify from the other example. Okay, not another pathway. Actually, you know what? We'll just read it. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, true. G alpha is an enzyme. Can anyone tell me why? No one wants to tell me why G alpha? Okay, go ahead.
GPCR.
Yes. Okay, so G alpha pictured here is an example of what we call GTPase, which means it has its own ability to hydrolyze GTP and a GDP. And so because of that, we consider it to be an enzyme. And so going from GTP to GDP means that you have 3 phosphates and you cleave one that makes 2 phosphates, or otherwise GDP. So because it can do that intrinsically on its own, that would make it an enzyme, which is why it's true. Yep.
Also, RGS is like
Good.
it likes to be like
Good point. Yeah.
the G protein. The receptor itself is like
Okay. Good point. So because G alpha is considered to be a GTPase, as we know, GTPases can hydrolyze GTP and a GDP, but do so very slowly. So it needs the help. Usually in the nuclear import-export uses the help of GAP, which accelerates the GTPase activity since it's not the one directly hydrolyzing GTP and a GDP. So in a way, you can consider RGS, which does the same thing to help G alpha quickly hydrolyze GTP and a GDP. Well, RGS is not directly hydrolyzing the GTP, it just binds to it G alpha, which makes G alpha do that activity much faster. So in a way, RGS can be considered to be a GAP analog. Yes, so yes, that's actually a very good point. So then, yes, as well as you both said, the receptor in this case, this squiggly black thing, would be considered to be a GEF analog. Why? Because when the signal binds or the ligand, the yellow ligand will bind to the GPCR, causes a conformational shift in G alpha, or just fancy way of saying shapeshift, which causes G alpha to release GDP, and then GTP, which is abundant in the cell and is just floating around, will bind to G alpha because there'll be an empty pocket once G alpha has the shape change and loses affinity for GDP, then GTP diffuses in. And when G alpha is bound to GTP, it's active and dissociates in. That's the whole pathway. But you have all these slides and it says everything, I promise you. But does that make sense why G alpha is considered to be an enzyme? Very good, by the way, the explanations. But you see how like not everything's an enzyme, right? You just have to think back to what it does exactly to determine. Oh, I got you a question. I always got this one wrong. Yeah, because she always used to change the word to like, yeah, one word off and it's different. I hated it. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, then want to explain why it's
So this one's kind of just like I guess kind of a fact one too. So it's not a centromere that the microtubule is like sent from. It's the centrosome. So it's kind of like a fact-based question, I guess.
oh man, that's a tough one. Changed the whole word, it was a different question, different meaning. Okay,
So it'd be true if it said centrosome, not centromere.
just the wording of it. Very hard question. Change the wording. That would have got that. I got that one wrong too. She had that on one of her quizzes one time. I remember. I didn't read it carefully. Centromere, centrosome, same thing, right? True. No. Please read carefully. Ooh, okay. I know it's pathways again, but I think we should still do it. This is a good question. Okay, so this question we have mutation in one of the SH2 domains of AKT that binds to protein kinase 1. So what do you predict would happen as a result of that mutation? So we're just shutting off the SH2 domain on the left here. This one's a thinker. This is a tough question. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Oh, this one was tricky, but you guys did very good overall. Okay, answer is cells would die because PK1 is necessary for the activation of AKT. Anyone want to take a stab at why that one, the correct answer is square? No? Okay. Okay, go ahead. Okay. Sorry, go ahead, Morgan.
And so basically partial activation and this thing, but
Okay. So I say you're like almost close, but I just want to like re-emphasize the partial activation thing. So basically in this question, person who made this question decided to mutate one of the SH2 domains of AKT, and specifically the one that would normally bind to protein kinase 1. So if we shut that down, then what would happen here? So basically what's going on is for AKT to become active, there are 3 ingredients that are required. One of them is PIP3. The second is the 2 kinases have to phosphorylate it. Why? Because phosphorylation of protein kinase 1, when protein kinase 1 phosphorylates AKT on this SH2 domain area, then the phosphorylation of that makes a conformational shift in AKT, or makes a shape change so that it exposes the second SH2 site for protein kinase 2, the purple one, to bind to it. So if you remove the ability of protein kinase 1 to phosphorylate the SH2 on the left side, then protein kinase 2, hypothetically speaking, would not be able to phosphorylate the right side. You're just disrupting the sequence of events here, I think. Just the sequential order that protein kinase 1 phosphorylates it, then protein kinase 2, and then that leads to the activation of AKT and it dissociates. Does that make sense? It's because it's not like protein kinase 2 can just jump in and perform both roles. It's like very specific the way the order is of the pathway. Yeah, so if you destroy natural order, then you get cell death. That makes sense for people? Can I get a thumbs up? Yeah, that one was a thinker. Sorry. It was kind of tricky, I realized, when I made all the options. Yeah. Ooh, cell cycle. Okay, we're almost there, guys. We'll be out of here soon. Actually, what is the time? Considering it's done 6:30. Yeah, it's been 30 minutes. I think we'll get through it. I still have the worksheet and the whole of this to do. So. Okay. Did you want to explain why it's a
Does anyone, I mean, this is another like kind of like factual one, but I'll take it from. Sorry, I can't really hear you though.
chromosome condension occurs at the beginning of this phase? Okay, well. Okay. Okay. Do you want to explain? Because I think it's at the beginning. So, but wait, hold on. Sorry. Let me just consult my notes. Anyone want to? You have a comment? Or? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, too loud. It's on this.
It occurs after S. So I got this wrong. I put GT phase because I didn't read like the beginning of this phase. It would have been phase, but I believe it. Okay, is it prophase or prophase?
Prophase.
Yes. Thank you. Chromosome condension occurs at prophase, which is the beginning of M phase. If you don't believe me, here is the slide. Chromosomes condense prophase. Prophase is part of M phase. Because the question said at the beginning of which phase, that would be M phase. So does that make sense? Good catch though. Good catch with the question. But yes, I too also misread it when I took the class and picked the other option. So I get where you guys are coming from. Okay. Okay, wait. No, this is not the same. Okay, sorry. Oh, all of these are cell cycle. I love this. Okay, you guys got this one. I'm sure of it. Are you charging your phone for the Kahoot? Yeah. That's dedication right there. That is winner energy. She said, I have to win. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's hard to read the screen, but you guys can practice on your laptop at home. It will be much easier. You can play over Zoom or something. It'll be fun. Okay, 3, 2, 1. It was 19. Okay, 1. S-Phase, which mostly everybody got. But that one there is just, where's the slide? Where's the slide? Mm,
98.
oh, thank you. Too many slides, you gotta go by number. Anyway, S-Phase, no. Where's, sorry. I just seen it. But S-Phase just has to be, like, it's when you duplicate the DNA. That's just,
So
yes, okay.
the cell's just gonna check for like enough nutrients, machinery, and no mutations in G1, and then actually duplicates its DNA in S phase.
Exactly. So thumbs up if that makes sense. Excellent. Okay. Next. Oh, why is it? Maybe I put these two. Sorry, I may have put questions in there twice. It was a long night yesterday, just putting the question. Okay, I said the answer to this. No fair. Okay, next. Ooh, this one. Sorry, the answer choice is a very long to read. Lavender is top tier. Good points. Especially if somebody doesn't have a anyways, okay, 3, 2, 1. Ah, I got you guys. I'm sorry. That was rude. Okay, if the survival signal in the form of a trimer binds the receptor. Okay, who can tell me what's wrong with that statement, first of all? Something's really wrong in there, which is why the answer is that. Okay, go ahead. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Yeah, so signal is always in the form of a dimer. I think in one of your pathways, like the diagram actually says it. I think for this one, it says signal in the form of a dimer will bind to an RTK. Never trimer, never heterodimer. No. Has to be dimer. So if it's not a dimer, it's not going to fit in the RTK. Nothing happens. That makes sense for people? Sorry, that was the evil question. I don't know. I just made up the question. But you won't have to, I don't think you have to worry about a trimer signal binding to RTK because it's not real. Yeah, but there's no trimers in the pathways though for our class. Okay, wait, no. Somebody said this. Sorry. Oh, okay. You got this, guys. I like the confidence. She's like, I got this one. You guys remember drawing this on your exam too, right? Okay, that one there is just a statement of fact. It is time. How we know that? Consult the slide. Time. Okay, great. Does that make sense? Next. We're almost through here. Doing fantastic. Didn't get to see the leaderboard, the winner. They have a little like display with the podiums and stuff. That's like third place, second place. TA should pitch in for the gift card. A survival kit. An exam blankets, snacks. Yeah, that's just small. Okay, Okay, 3, 2, 1. Oh, okay. Wait,
This is, I would say this is just another like factual statement. Well, I think Laura had it in one of her like clicker questions in class, but the cell's just always going throughout G1 phase, so it's not really a.
Okay, yeah. And G1 is just the name of it means growth phase. That G stand for the growth phase. So does it, well, G2 as well. But yes, the G stand for growth phase. So in the entirety of G1, the cell would be growing. Does that make sense? There we go. All right, almost there. 3 more, yeah. What down? I'm so sorry, guys. I probably put the same question 5 times yesterday. Long day. Ooh. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Ah, everybody got that one right. I wonder why. Wonder who explained what enzymes was earlier. Is it me? Anyway, yes, enzyme could be classified as a protein that catalyzes an enzymatic reaction, such as kinases, GTPases, etc. Yes. Does that make sense? Okay. More info about that in your slides I sent today. Mhm. Good question. Part of exciting the most is the leaderboard. We do a whole like 2-minute like trumpet thing with the different podiums and the names. It's cool to see. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let me explain that one,
So
'cause that's interesting.
this one's true just because although cyclin plays an important part of activating CDK, CDK also needs to be phosphorylated by CAC, and then WEE1, the inhibitory phosphate, needs to be removed. So it's, I don't know what the question said exactly,
Okay,
but
cyclins are
it's necessary, but it's not sufficient for full activation of CDK.
Yeah, so cyclins are required to activate CDK, but so is the process of phosphorylation. So that's what we're trying to get at here. So you need to have both activating phosphorylation and cyclin for CDK to become completely active. So if you only had cyclins and not activating phosphorylation, then CDKs wouldn't work properly. It needs 2 things for it to be able to function. Does that make sense? That's why the question is phrased as cyclins are considered to be necessary but not enough for CDK activation. That makes sense? Okay. Oh, leaderboard. Oh, last question. Let me see the leaderboard display. That'll be fun. I think this one is just like a back sheet in here. Okay. So this answer to that one is just MCAC. I think Laura went over a couple examples in class of the different kinds of kinesins and the functions they perform. You can see these in the slides. We listed the descriptions of them all. They're all listed here, so you guys can take a peek at that later today. And now, oh, the podium. Oh, winner! Congratulations! Congratulations to our top 5. Very exciting stuff. Okay, what happened there? screen. Hold on 1 second. So, don't want to talk over this. So that is the end of our Kahoot review session. But I wanted to let you guys all know that David and I took a great deal of time to make a practice sheet with more questions. So you guys can practice your multiple choice skills and explaining through that. We will send that later today. And yeah, so that's what we're gonna send later today. And the slides, you should already have access to them. Let me know if you don't, but also please watch the exam to review if you want more in-depth look on a traditional style of the lecture reviews we do for weeks 6 through 9, like going over concepts from there. Thanks for playing, thanks for being here. And we're gonna make the Kahoot public so everybody can play this, whether you're at home, or if you wanna study together over Zoom. I think it's a great idea. Thank you so much for being here.
What is the next one?
Oh, next exam,
It's
a
Tuesday.
review session